I think Tyson Fury is going to absolutely batter Francis Ngannou this Saturday, which we are live streaming. So make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on and tune in. First live stream of the channel. I hope it's not a disaster. But I was just watching the open workouts from last night on the TNT Sports Boxing channel. I was watching Francis Ngannou here, and he's quite stiff. He's quite sluggish. Now, we know Francis Ngannou has got absolute knockout power and can KO anyone in the world. He's got the hardest registered punch in the world. So yeah, we know that Francis Ngannou has got a puncher's chance. But how much more of a puncher's chance has he got than Deontay Wilder? Deontay Wilder caught Tyson Fury a good 4 or 5 times over the course of their trilogy fight. And it's arguable that Deontay Wilder has got better technique than Francis Ngannou. That is saying something. Deontay Wilder has got some awful technique. Now, I know some of you guys in the comments will be like, oh, Shaun, you're telling Deontay Wilder how good at boxing he is. I'd like to see you do better. Listen, you don't have to be better than the boxer himself to acknowledge when someone's got bad technique. But yes, Deontay Wilder would destroy all of us. I'm not denying that. All I'm saying is that Deontay Wilder hasn't got the best technique, and he's still got a lot better technique than Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou on the pads looks nothing like when he actually fights. I want to show you a little example of Francis Ngannou's technique and how wild it is. Now, once again, I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. He's a fantastic MMA fighter. He's barely got to touch you and just scrape your face and you're dead. And he has got a lot better recently at mixing it up. But when you see him just throw hands, he is wild. We have to accept that. And this fight where he blitzes Jairzinho Rozenstruik is a prime example of how wild Francis Ngannou is. I'm going to show you this on slow motion. Okay, amazing knockout, by the way. I remember staying up till 6 a.m. to watch this in my mates. But let's just make sure that we're right on point here. So, Francis Ngannou, I want you to pay close attention to how he throws punches. And as I say, he has improved a little bit since then. But this is what he resorts to when he's actually in the fight. His boxing looks pretty clean when he's on the pads. But then when he's actually fighting, this is the type of stuff that you'll see. Let's watch these strikes in slow motion. Throws the jab. Look at that for an overhand. And look at that. Wow. I do not want to be on the end of those punches at all. Absolute killer power. Let me actually break it down strike by strike. The only good punch out of this entire sequence in terms of technique. And the reason why we have to talk about technique is because he's going up against Tyson Fury, who's got impeccable technique. But I just want to give you his context and show you the lens at which I'm judging his striking through. So he throws the body jab, which is, okay, fair enough, not too bad. Now watch this overhand, right? It's a proper windmill. So, wow. And he's almost reaching down to the floor behind him with that strike. Now, that is a perfect opportunity for a right hook or almost like an uppercut from Rozenstruik. But Rozenstruik had already committed to the left hook. And I think he does actually catch him a little bit. See, there he catches him. Now, watch this hook from Ngannou. It absolutely comes from 10 miles away. We can already see and judge the technique a little bit. Look the way he's loading up that hook. It's like this. So every punch is coming from back here. Kind of like how KSI throws his punches. So look at that. Absolutely incredible right there. Francis Ngannou, what an absolute legend you are. It doesn't even matter about your technique. You will still destroy the majority of the heavyweight division. But you can see there, his chest is up, his chin is high. I mean, it goes without explaining, but he's extended his arm all the way back here, and it's just all shoulder. That's not how a hook should be thrown. That's just pure 260 pounds coming through the hook. Don't throw a hook like this, lads. Now, granted, he turns it a little bit on the end, which is good, but 90% of that hook was just a pec fly. He actually catches Rozenstruik a little bit there. And then look at this overhand right. It's not really an overhand right. Has anyone ever seen those cats where they go like this? Them little, is it the Japanese cats? And they go, it's like a little toy or a little cat ornament. That's the punch that Francis Ngannou throws right here. Let me slow it down even more and you'll see. See? What type of punch is that? Take it back a little bit again. Watch. So he throws the cat punch. Now, Rozenstruik actually catches him there. Pretty clean. It's just unfortunate for Rozenstruik that Francis Ngannou has got the momentum behind him, and that punch wasn't able to stun Ngannou enough to slow him down. Rozenstruik's on the back foot, and then he ends up falling into the cage right about now. So Francis catches him with this left hook. Oh, devastating power. And then there, do you see that punch again from his right hand? He throws the paw. Look at that. Like, who punches like that apart from girls on the playground? Francis Ngannou, that's who. But you can get away with it when you're 6'4" and 260 pounds and look like an absolute juiced up gorilla. So, and he misses that. But like, what type of punch is that? And then obviously he catches him with the left hook again. And I think that's, yeah, the right hook. pretty much a wrap. So that's a little example of Francis Ngannou's technique. Now, look, I'm not saying that he's still like that. Of course, he's made changes since then. He has vastly improved. We can't deny that whatsoever. But I just get the sense that we're going to see a little bit of this in the Tyson Fury fight. Not to this extent where he's pure doing the Japanese cat punch, but I think we're definitely going to see a wild side to Francis Ngannou. And if Rosenstrike can catch Ngannou when he's coming in like that, Tyson Fury is going to catch him very easily. And the whole purpose of this video is to talk about how I believe Tyson Fury is going to get this job done. Let's just take a little look at Francis Ngannou at his open workouts 20 hours ago at the time of recording this video. So have you noticed really we said in the video the other day, Tyson, Francis Ngannou doesn't have the body makeup and the physique type and the build and the musculature, physicality, whatever you want to call it, to emulate Mike Tyson's style. So is Francis Ngannou going through a little bit of an identity crisis, trying to transition over into boxing? Now, let's also look at the speed. Can we get a little bit of volume without it distracting me?
Tyson Fury, do not rule out seeing him in an octagon, in a cage, one day.
I don't think we'll see Tyson Fury in an octagon. Anytime we'll see that is if Tyson Fury just boxes within a cage. He's not going to go in for an MMA fight. But let's look at Francis Ngannou here.
No, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. You wouldn't rule anything out with him.
How does he look?
Hard for Fury. It just would, and boxing it's kind of amazing.
Now we can see, let me just mute that. That is definitely distracting. He's not super fluid, especially on these combinations. I don't want to judge, but we have to try and take what we've got here and determine who we think's going to win, just with the training footage that we've got. You see how janky almost this is? Like, look at his hands there. Let's just slow it down by 0.2, just so, or maybe 0.4. Like, this isn't right there. This just isn't really natural for him. But you would think with 4 months boxing training that he'd have this down a little bit more. This is like simple stuff. I know he's dieting right now. He's doing his weight cut. I understand. You can't look into the open workout too much. But I don't know. Is this a telltale sign that Francis Ngannou is going to get absolutely dominated? Because he is clearly lacking natural coordination with basic boxing techniques. He's not used to throwing these short combinations. So when I've done a little bit of boxing training with certain coaches, like, I want to get better at fighting, at sparring. Okay, cool. I have a very in and out blitzing style, almost karate-esque, because that was what my foundations were in, karate. Now all of a sudden, I've got boxing trainers getting me to do these Floyd Mayweather combinations. Now I know that they're helpful for your coordination and but it doesn't really transfer over to sparring. I've seen lads who are like getting good on the pads. I know lads who are getting really, really good on the pads, but then you spar with them and there's like zero transfer over from the pads, the pad drills to the sparring. Does that mean the pad drills don't work? No. It just means that the type of pad drills that they're doing clearly isn't working. And it's often because we're doing these long combinations and you're more so focused on it being a dance and the choreography of this pad drill. All of a sudden you've got someone standing in front of you and they punch you in the face and you don't know what to do. You can't do all this. Right, okay, I'm going to do my 1, 2, left, right, up, duck, this, combination on Shaun now. But then the moment the Shaun jabs you in the face after your first or second punch, you don't know what to do. So I'm going on a big long rant to just explain that these long combinations, they're good for coordination, but there's no transfer over into the actual fight. And that's why I believe that we're just going to see the same old Francis Ngannou, but with a little bit more polished technique and a little bit more of a jab. We might not see the Japanese cat punches, but we'll see a little bit more jabs from him and maybe some left body hooks. But does that mean he's going to win? I don't think so. Now let's contrast Francis Ngannou on the pads versus Tyson Fury on the pads. Look at how much more loose Tyson Fury is, just doing a bit of shadow boxing here. He's skipping around the cage. He's a lot more loose on his feet. He's got really good movement. Now, movement doesn't always win fights. We know that. Look at this fight coming up with Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich. We've done a video on that yesterday. Tom Aspinall's got the movement. Sergey is like a very stompy, ploddy fighter who just walks you down like a big polar bear. Sergey could potentially win that fight. So that doesn't mean that Francis Ngannou can't win this fight. I've seen some of you boys in the comments say, oh, stop acting like Francis Ngannou has got a chance. Of course course he's got a chance. He's a big fella. He's a big power puncher. There's that small percentage that he could catch Tyson Fury. We don't know if Tyson Fury is underestimating Francis Ngannou here, so we have to take all this into consideration. That's why I will always give someone the benefit of the doubt a little bit. Francis Ngannou was looking very slow. Let's watch a little bit of Tyson Fury here.
Make it awkward, make it uncomfortable. When you haven't fought an MMA fighter that boxes differently, there's a case to be made that those punches are coming at you from different angles, and Tyson Fury has acknowledged that himself as well. So I think Francis has to use what he's got, what's different about him, and if he can land, he can knock anybody out.
Let me actually just make a point on that. Yeah, punches can come from different angles, but to explain this properly, it might start off at a different angle, but it all finishes at the same end point. An uppercut starting from here, or an uppercut starting from here, or an uppercut starting from here, still ends in it being an uppercut. So the whole argument of like, yeah, punches can come from different angles, it does make a little bit of a difference, but it's usually not a complete game changer. It's usually just like a little 1% advantage the unconventional boxer has. And the reason being is because even boxers can punch from unconventional angles. It's not only MMA fighters. Francis Ngannou is going to possess certain techniques, and the way he throws punches might present a little bit of a different look to Tyson Fury than he's used to, but nothing that's going to be completely out of this world and completely foreign to the point where Tyson Fury's like so complex and doesn't know how to deal with it. If anything, Francis Ngannou, yeah, might throw from different angles, but he's significantly slower. We've seen then, he's all over the place. He hasn't really got much speed on him. We could say that he's holding back a little bit, and yet we're going to see him throw with speed in the actual fight. But as I say, if Francis Ngannou starts throwing with speed, I think that's when all the technique goes out the window.
Okay, thanks very much.
We watched Tyson Fury here. Look how fluid he is.
There from...
Told me would it happen, I tell you it's impossible, but
you see how
anything
smooth.
is possible, I guess.
Wow. Like, just comparing those punches to Francis Ngannou's, the smoothness, the crispness of the technique, the speed, it's just a complete different level than Francis Ngannou. And you got to remember, boys, I am an MMA guy. I like Francis Ngannou. I usually side with the MMA fighter coming into these fights, but I've got to go with Tyson Fury.
And you told me would it happen, I tell you it's impossible, but
very
anything
straight,
is possible, I guess, in
right
Saudi
down
Arabia
the pipe.
now and today.
Great
okay,
speed.
Ziad, always good to see you.
He's got a good amount of snap on those
Always
punches.
Good to see you. Okay, let's just have a little bit more of a
what that was.
Scout around. I think I might have run out of gas at ringside here just for the moment, so I'll slide back in behind.
Let's just mute this. One thing we can also notice from Tyson Fury is that he's given a lot of feints. He's moving a lot. He's showing different things, different angles, giving different looks. You see how he's constantly moving? Boom, boom. That double hook is really clean. Francis Ngannou was just standing there. 1, 2, body, body. 1, 2, body, body. And then every now and then he'd do a little pivot step. 1, 2, body, body. And then he's doing the, oh, where are my hands? Look at Tyson. He's just so smooth and fluid with it. Obviously, he could get caught. But, I don't know, I think the purebred boxer gets it done in this case. I'm just liking what I'm seeing from Tyson. He looks sharp.
Heavyweights ever.
He looks playful.
What's actually really interesting about the last few years has not just been the comeback, which was incredible.
I love that double hook of Tyson Fury's. Was that a triple hook at the end?
Really interesting about the last few years has not just been the comeback, which was incredible.
Triple hook, like so clean with it. Boom, boom, boom. Absolutely love it.
Really, but it was a stylistic shift.
Yeah,
after
that's
that
nice.
First fight against Wilder. Incredible, really, but it was a stylistic shift after that first fight against Wilder. I'll be honest, I thought he took that fight against Wilder the first time around.
Tyson does look like he's got a little bit more power. Don't forget, he's been implementing this new style now where he goes forward for the last 4, 5 fights. He never used to fight like that, and he's only going to get better at that style the more that he fights like that. So I think Tyson Fury's best shot at getting this fight done is keeping Ngannou at the end of his jab, just absolutely piecing Ngannou up, making Ngannou miss, leaning on Ngannou's arms, let them fill up with lactic acid, and then hopefully going for the stoppage in round 6 or 7. One thing we do have to remember, Ngannou has a bit of a chin. He's never really been rocked that much. He kind of got a little bit rocked in the Stipe fight, the first fight, but that was because he was really tired as well. I haven't really seen any evidence that Ngannou has got a bad chin. He's got a big fat head. So I'm actually erring on the side of it being a decision by Tyson. But I'm going to do another video, my official final prediction on this tomorrow before we do the live stream on Saturday. But judging based on this footage, what are you guys thinking so far? Obviously, you've been leaving all your comments down below, but how do you feel when you contrast Francis Ngannou's Ngannou's open workout to Tyson Fury's open workout. Can you see anything in Tyson Fury's game that Francis Ngannou is going to be able to expose? Or do you think it's just going to be an absolute clear domination by Tyson Fury? I personally think Francis is looking a little bit slow, a little bit uncoordinated, flat-footed, and I think the only way he's got a shot at this is if he does actually do his wild man act and goes for his Japanese calf punches. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to this channel. We upload every single day. We've got the live stream this Saturday. We'll probably go live about half an hour before the main event starts. It says 10 PM, so I'm thinking maybe 9:30, just to deal with any sort of technical issues and that. Just make sure you got the notifications turned on so it pops up on your phone. Then Shaun Jones is live, and let's watch it together. I might have a little beer or a little whiskey as well. Decent Saturday night together. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. I got an excitement quiver. Nice one, boys. Like this video. See you all tomorrow.